There's this strange moment every crypto investor experiences. That split second when the noise fades, the fear dies down, and something big, something real cuts through the chaos. Feels like the air shifts, like the energy around the entire market tightens for a second. And you think, hold on, what did I just hear? That was the feeling across the crypto world when BNY Mellon, the oldest bank in America, the bank that has survived wars, depressions, hyperinflation, market crashes, and global resets, quietly stepped forward and confirmed what crypto holders have been screaming for years. Digital assets are not only the future, they are now a core part of institutional strategy. Not a trend, not a test, not an experiment, a strategy. And when a 240-year-old institution, one that literally holds over $45 trillion in assets under custody, says we're moving forward with digital asset integration, it means something deeper than hype. Institutions don't do hype. They do inevitability. But let's slow down for a second. Because the real story isn't that BNY Mellon is moving into crypto. The real story is why this moment matters more than any bull run you've ever lived through. And the truth is, if you're holding XRP, XLM, HBAR, QNT, ADA, or Bitcoin, this confirmation might be the clearest sign you've ever received that you're positioned exactly where the world is heading. Let's rewind. For years, the crypto space has been divided into two universes. The crypto community, loud, innovative, fast-moving, and traditional finance, slow, cautious, risk-averse. One side moves like a startup. The other moves like a government agency. For years, they refused to touch each other. Then something changed. The global financial system started breaking. Payment rails felt outdated. Liquidity issues grew. Clearing systems lagged. Governments panicked. And suddenly, the institutions that once ignored crypto started studying it, then testing it, then investing in it, then hiring blockchain teams. But BNY Mellon stepping in is different. Because BNY Mellon is not just another bank. They are the bank of banks. They are the back end, the infrastructure, the silent engine behind trillions. When a bank like that says, digital asset custody is now essential, it is not an opinion, it is a macro signal. And here's where the plot gets even more interesting. BNY Mellon didn't just say they like crypto. They said they are now building the systems to hold, transfer, custody, and manage digital assets for institutional clients. That is literally the exact bridge crypto has been waiting for since Satoshi wrote the first block. Why does this matter for you, the retail investor? Because institutions move slowly until they move all at once. This is how it always happens in finance. A major player breaks silence. Another follows. Then a few more. Then suddenly, the shift that was years away becomes overnight reality. Right now, we are at that exact phase. JP Morgan has launched blockchain settlement. Fidelity is pushing Bitcoin and ETH custody. BlackRock is building tokenization infrastructure. HSBC is rolling out digital asset platforms. And now BNY Mellon, the quiet giant, has confirmed that crypto isn't the future. It is the now. This is the moment early investors dream about. The moment where you look at your portfolio and realize, wait, I'm sitting in assets that trillion-dollar institutions are preparing to adopt on a global scale. It's not about pumps. It's not about green candles. It's not even about bull runs anymore. It's about recognition. The global financial machine, the same machine that once mocked crypto, is now relying on blockchain to survive the next decade. And here's the secret nobody is telling you. BNY Mellon didn't do this for profit. They did it because they were forced to. When the world's payments, settlements, and liquidity flows begin shifting to blockchain networks, institutions that fail to adapt simply die. BNY Mellon has seen 200 years of financial cycles. They know survival when they see it. So their move is simple. Adopt the tech or become irrelevant. And that right there is the confirmation every crypto investor secretly hoped would come. Crypto isn't a bubble. Crypto isn't a niche. Crypto isn't a side bet. Crypto is now becoming the infrastructure of global finance. Just think about this. A decade ago, banks mocked Bitcoin. 5 years ago, they dismissed XRP. 3 years ago, they feared stablecoins. 2 years ago, they warned about CBDCs. Today, they are building systems for all of them. Time has a funny way of exposing what's real. But now here's the twist. This isn't just about Bitcoin or Ethereum. BNY Mellon's interest lies in settlement speed assets, interoperability networks, enterprise-grade chains, and institutional liquidity layers, the kind of assets retail investors often ignore because they don't have flashy marketing. Assets like XRP for real-time liquidity, XLM for global remittances, HBAR for enterprise-grade speed and security, QNT for interoperability, XDC for trade and settlement, ALGO, IOTA, and others for infrastructure. If you look closely, BNY Mellon's move wasn't about joining crypto hype. It was about preparing for a world where value moves digitally, instantly, cheaply, and globally. The crypto community has been living in that world for years. Institutions have just arrived. And trust me, they're not leaving. Because once a bank like BNY Mellon steps in, they bring everyone with them: pension funds, sovereign wealth funds, asset managers, private banks, custodians, clearinghouses, and regulators. This is how institutional adoption begins. Not loudly, quietly, one giant at a time, until the entire landscape shifts. And right now, we are watching that shift happen in real time. If you are holding strong, researching deeply, staying calm during fear, and positioning yourself in utility-driven assets, this confirmation should hit you differently. Because now, it's not just you who believes. The institutions believe too. Let's slow down for a moment and really sit with what's happening. Because most people in crypto still don't understand the magnitude of this shift. BNY Mellon didn't wake up one morning and decide, sure, let's try digital assets. Why not? Banks don't operate on curiosity. They operate on pressure, and right now the pressure is global. Something is happening behind the scenes that forced their hand, and if you understand it, you'll instantly see why this moment is bigger than any price prediction, any hype cycle, or any influencer tweet. The financial system is being rewritten, and institutions are preparing before the public wakes up. For the past decade, crypto has been screaming that traditional finance is too slow, too outdated, too fragile. And guess what? The cracks are now visible at the highest levels. Banks are collapsing. Governments are running record deficits. Settlement systems lag behind digital markets. Global remittances are painfully inefficient. Cross-border money movement is outdated. Liquidity is fragmented across borders. Clearing systems are failing to keep up with global trade. BNY Mellon didn't join crypto. BNY Mellon pivoted to survive the next stage of global finance. And if the oldest bank in the United States, a 240-year-old beast, sees crypto as mandatory, that tells you something profound. Crypto is no longer competing with the old system. It is replacing the old system. Now, here's where this gets even more interesting. BNY Mellon didn't choose random cryptocurrencies to work with. They didn't choose meme tokens. They didn't choose hype coins. They didn't choose whatever was trending on Twitter. They chose to build infrastructure around tokenization, digital custody, settlement networks, and institutional-grade chains. And if you understand those words, you immediately see which assets benefit. BNY Mellon operates custody for trillions in global funds. Do you think they want to wait 3 days for cross-border payments? Do you think they want to pay massive correspondent banking fees? Do you think they want fragmented liquidity across currencies? No. They want real-time settlement. They want unified liquidity. They want frictionless global transfers. XRP is literally built for this. Ripple doesn't need hype because the utility speaks for itself. Banks want what XRP offers, and now that institutions like BNY Mellon are stepping in, that utility becomes non-negotiable. The question isn't, will XRP be used? It's, how deep will XRP be integrated into the future rails of global value? BNY Mellon serves not just institutions, but also settlement partners, remittance platforms, and payment processors across multiple continents. XLM's focus on global remittances, especially underserved regions, lines up perfectly with the new digital economy. You can't modernize global finance without modernizing global access. And Stellar is built exactly for that. When banks look for blockchain solutions, they're not looking for meme tokens. They're looking for security, Finality, governance, compliance, enterprise integrations. HBAR checks every box. From fraud-resistant settlement to high-throughput payments, BNY Mellon's future digital rails align almost perfectly with what Hedera has already been building. Don't forget, Hedera's governing council already includes some of the world's most powerful enterprises. Now imagine banks joining that same energy. This is the one most retail investors underestimate. BNY Mellon doesn't want one blockchain. They want all blockchains connected, unified, seamless. Enter QNT. Quant's Overledger provides what institutions crave: multi-chain communication, compliance-friendly architecture, bank-level security, interoperability without complexity. This is why QNT consistently shows up in enterprise and government blockchain conversations. It doesn't ask, which chain wins? It solves the actual institutional problem. How do we connect all the chains together? BNY Mellon is heavily involved in global trade custody, settlement, and treasury functions. Now ask yourself, what blockchain is quietly dominating the trade finance narrative? XDC, real-world assets, tokenized bonds, bill of lading, global settlement rails. This is exactly the world BNY Mellon is building toward. But here's the part nobody sees coming. People think banks are joining crypto. No, banks are preparing to compete with each other in a blockchain-powered world. The first banks to master digital asset custody and tokenization will dominate the next century of finance. And BNY Mellon just became the first of the giants to fully commit. This creates a domino effect. When one major institution integrates digital assets, competitors can't stay behind. Just like JP Morgan launched JP Morgan Coin, Goldman Sachs began blockchain testing. BlackRock pushed tokenization, Fidelity expanded digital custody. Now BNY Mellon integrates digital assets, expect State Street, Citibank, HSBC, and others to accelerate. This is how institutional adoption unfolds. Not with hype, with competition. And here's the core message for you. Every time a bank like BNY Mellon enters crypto, every time a new custody platform opens, every time tokenization expands, the value of utility-driven cryptocurrencies strengthens. Not because of speculation, not because of hype, but because they become indispensable. This is why you are here early. This is why your portfolio matters. This is why surviving the boring years was worth it. BNY Mellon confirmed something deeper than crypto is good. They confirmed that the future financial system cannot function without blockchain. And the assets positioned at the center of it, XRP, XLM, HBAR, QNT, XDC, suddenly become more than investments. They become infrastructure. There's a moment in every major shift in world history when you can feel the energy change, even if you can't explain why. Sometimes it's subtle, almost quiet. Sometimes it's loud and shocking. But every once in a while, there's a move that seems small on the surface yet sends a vibration through the entire global financial system. That is exactly what happened when BNY Mellon made its digital asset move. Most people looked at the headline and shrugged. Oh, another bank getting into crypto. Everyone does that now. But what they don't realize is that this is not another bank. This is the bank, the protector of trillions, the custodian of the world's deepest financial legacy, the silent backbone behind endless markets, companies, governments, and funds. When a normal company adopts crypto, it's innovation. When a fintech startup adopts crypto, it's expected. When a hedge fund adopts crypto, it's strategy. But when BNY Mellon adopts crypto, it means the world's financial structure is officially being rewritten. And here's the truth people aren't ready for. Their move isn't just about storing Bitcoin or Ethereum. It's not even about entering the crypto industry. It's about preparing for the new global financial rails being built right in front of us. Rails powered by ISO 20022 messaging, tokenized value, instant settlement, and interoperable digital assets that can do what Swift never could. BNY Mellon is looking at the future and realizing that the banking system they've protected for 240 years will not survive the next 10 without blockchain integration. And when a financial titan with centuries of dominance decides to pivot, it's not out of curiosity, it's out of necessity. What does that mean for you? Everything. Because for the first time, The gap between retail dreams and institutional reality is closing. The things crypto believers talked about in 2017 and 2020, the things people got laughed at for instant global payments, tokenized stocks, banks using blockchain, institutional crypto custody, decentralized finance, cross-border liquidity are no longer theoretical. They are no longer someday. They are being built right now. And at the center of this build are the utility giants, XRP, XLM, HBAR, QNT, XDC. BNY Mellon didn't choose meme coins. They didn't choose hype tokens. They chose infrastructure, the very same infrastructure that these assets are quietly anchoring. This is where the story gets even bigger. Imagine a world where every asset, stocks, real estate, debt instruments, commodities, private equity shares, carbon credits, is tokenized. Not hypothetically, but actually. Tokenized assets need somewhere to be stored, traded, verified, audited, moved, and settled. That somewhere can't be a paper-based system. Can't be a manual back-end desk with workers sorting contracts. It has to be digital, automated, programmable, and interoperable. BNY Mellon sees this future clearly. BlackRock sees it. JP Morgan sees it. Swift sees it. The G20 sees it. The IMF sees it. The BIS sees it. But regular investors are still catching up. Here's what almost no one is talking about. Custodians like BNY Mellon are the link between the new crypto world being built and the trillions in traditional global wealth that will eventually flow into it. They are the bridge between the legacy system and the digital one. Without them, tokenization cannot scale. Without them, institutions can't touch blockchain. Without them, adoption stays small and fragmented. BNY Mellon stepping in is the institutional green light that crypto has been waiting for. And the moment they stepped in, they validated every asset that powers settlement, interoperability, liquidity, and enterprise-grade infrastructure. XRP suddenly looks like the perfect global liquidity mechanism. XLM suddenly looks like the perfect global remittance network. HBAR suddenly looks like the perfect enterprise-grade settlement layer. QNT suddenly looks like the key to everything interacting seamlessly. XDC suddenly looks like the backbone for global trade and tokenized assets. These aren't dreams anymore. These are positions within a system that the biggest players in finance are building right now. Think for a moment about what happens next. When BNY Mellon integrates digital asset settlement into its operations, its competitors cannot avoid doing the same. Banks aren't emotional. They are competitive. If one adopts a technology that improves speed, reduces risk, and saves billions, the rest must follow or die. This is how global adoption spreads. Quietly, professionally, institutionally, underneath the noise. And you, sitting here right now, are early in a way that most people will never understand. The world has reached a turning point where being early is no longer about guessing which coin pumps next week. It's about understanding which technologies become indispensable to the future financial system. For years, retail investors carried the crypto narrative. Now, institutions are taking the wheel, and they're choosing the assets with real-world utility, regulatory clarity, enterprise compatibility, and long-term value. That's what makes this moment so powerful. We're not watching hype. We're watching the foundation of a new monetary architecture being laid in real time. And BNY Mellon didn't just step onto that foundation, they confirmed it. But here's the twist the market hasn't absorbed yet. BNY Mellon's involvement means every major institution will now accelerate their blockchain plans, and that acceleration leads to liquidity expansion. Liquidity expansion leads to tokenization scaling. Tokenization scaling leads to a demand for settlement assets. Settlement assets lead directly to XRP, XLM, HBAR, XDC, and networks connected by QNT. It's a chain reaction, one that ends with utility-driven assets becoming the center of global finance. This is the part of the movie where everything is still calm on the surface, but beneath the surface the machinery of a new world is roaring to life. And when the world wakes up to what BNY Mellon just triggered, you'll be glad you were positioned long before the shockwaves reached the public. At the end of the day, what just happened with BNY Mellon isn't a headline. It's a declaration. It's the quiet signal that the era we've been waiting for is no longer forming. It has already begun. And if you sit with that for a moment, you can feel the weight of it. Because the world doesn't change in one big explosion. It changes through a series of moves that seem small, harmless, unnoticed, until suddenly they aren't. BNY Mellon just told every bank, every regulator, every government, and every financial giant on earth one simple truth. This is the new system. Catch up or get left behind. And that message is going to echo. It will echo in the halls of central banks. It will echo through the networks of global payment corridors. It will echo inside institutions still clinging to the old rails. And it will echo in the prices of the assets positioned to benefit from real-world adoption. You can almost see the shift happening. XRP finally stepping into the role it was designed for: liquidity, settlement, global reach. XLM moving value across borders like the internet moves information. HBAR powering enterprise-level systems with the kind of efficiency that Fortune 500s can't ignore. XDC sliding into traditional trade finance like it was built for it from day one. QNT stitching all of them together through interoperability the next era absolutely requires. These are no longer speculative picks. They are infrastructure choices. And BNY Mellon, the financial guardian of the planet, just validated the entire digital transformation. This is why you can't panic when markets dip. This is why you can't get shaken out by noise, influencers, fear, red candles, or temporary corrections. Because the real game isn't happening on price charts. It's happening in boardrooms, policy meetings, international banking networks, and trillion-dollar institutions preparing for the new rails that will carry every currency, every asset, every contract, every financial instrument of the future. And you, right now, are early. Before I close this out, let me leave you with this. When institutions move, they move slowly at first, then all at once. BNY Mellon was the slow part. What comes next, the all at once, will be the moment retail investors realize they never needed hype. They needed patience, understanding, and conviction. If you're holding XRP, XLM, HBAR, XDC, or QNT today, you are not guessing. You are positioning. And the next phase of this transition will make that clearer than ever. Now listen. If you found value in this breakdown, if you want to stay ahead while everyone else is still reacting to old news, then don't leave without subscribing, because the next few months are going to be chaotic, historic, and filled with opportunities people are completely unprepared for. Hit the like button so YouTube knows this message matters. Drop a comment telling me what you're holding and what you think is coming next. And as always, stay focused, stay grounded, and stay early, because the world is changing, and you're standing right at the front of it.